From the campus of Rutgers-Camden, just beneath the Ben Franklin Bridge, we've got non-conference Division III baseball here on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Today, the Centenary Cyclones of Hackettstown visit the Rutgers-Camden Scarlet Raptors. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Gavin Van Rel on the call. Gavin, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's 60-something degrees out today. The sun is shining. There's a little bit of a breeze. There's no better day for baseball here at Rutgers, but for now, these are two teams that haven't had the best fare in their first few non-conference games. Centenary coming in 1-5, one win over New Paltz last weekend. They lost 2 or 3 games in that series, and then Rutgers-Camden at 2-4 with 2 decent wins, but otherwise, for both of these teams having mostly home-based non-conference schedules, it's been a bit of a mixed bag so far.
Yeah, the weather is absolutely beautiful. I can't understate how nice it is. It feels like it was just 30 degrees yesterday. Hopefully not next week. Both these teams are coming in today looking to make a statement here, and I think we have a really, really good game in store. Not sure what we're going to get out of this, but I think it'll be really good. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw some fireworks.
Yeah, definitely. Wind is blowing out to right field today, so we could see a lot of pop over the, I guess you could say, the clear monster in right field. Not all of the tarp is up around the stadium. But the starter for Centenary is going to be Adam Yarrison at a 5.7 ERA in his junior season, and he's pitched over 60 frames across 3 full seasons with the Cyclones team. So it's going to be interesting to see how he works against Anthony Alessandroni, who's going to be making his first collegiate start this afternoon. The Cinnaminson High School grad who has no collegiate experience, and he's coming in with a 1.99 ERA at the high school level. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll resume our talks after the national anthem. Welcome back to Rutgers-Camden. Today's starter, presented by Harper Driving School, will be Anthony Alessandroni. Had nearly 50 innings at Cinnaminson last year in the BCSL, led by first-year head coach Alex Injayan, 1.99 ERA, 0.91 WHIP, and 50 strikeouts. And he led a very senior-heavy Cinnaminson staff last year to a 13-9 record. But now that he's left the Cinnaminson Pirates, he dons another kind of red and white in the Rutgers-Camden Scarlet Raptors. And he got a hug from his catcher, Evan Carbone, as he was taking the mound because, again, this is his first collegiate start. And we wish him the best of luck, as it's never easy to get your first. But A lot of rookies seem to headline this team. We saw Gabe McCracken of Audubon win the New Jersey Athletic Conference Rookie Pitcher of the Week. So we take a look at the lineup for the Centenary Cyclones. Leading off, Nick Frischia in left field, Dominic Chiego at third base, Derek DePace, the catcher, Andy Briggs in right, Anthony DeGrande, the DH, Mike DeSanta at first, RJ Fiore at second, and Simeon Reed batting .438 in center field. It is a beautiful afternoon for non-conference baseball here between Centenary and Rutgers-Camden. The first pitch in the collegiate career of Anthony Alessandroni is fouled back and we're underway. First pitch timed at 3:28, actually starting 2 minutes early today. Again, on a beautiful 79-degree Tuesday afternoon. It is March 10th, ladies and gentlemen, as that one misses high.
Yeah, you know, Dan, this just might be a record for the day for how hot it is. I'm really in shock. I feel like I could be down on the beach right now.
Yeah, I thought about it. I thought, maybe I have off on Thursday. Maybe I make a trip down to Wildwood or Ocean City, but might have some rain coming later this week. But 2-1.
Well, a swim in the Delaware doesn't sound too bad.
It's worse than you think. Got 2 balls, 1 strike to the leadoff man for Centenary in Frischia. 2-1 foul back. Centenary 1-5 this season. They lost two of their last 3 in a 3-game set versus New Paltz. Won the Friday series opener and then fell to both games on Saturday. 2 balls, 2 strikes from Alessandroni, and that's a swing and a miss. First Division III strikeout for the Cinnaminson grad, Anthony Alessandroni, and there's 1 away.
Yeah, that's got to be a big confidence boost right there. And the first at bat you face doesn't get much better than that.
Absolutely. We'll have the 2-man in the Centenary lineup now in Dominic Chiego. Chiego out of Emmaus in Macungie, Pennsylvania, the junior. Redshirted last season. Listed as a catcher and an infielder, but it is Derek DePace in the on-deck circle who is the starting catcher in today's contest. 1-0. Foul back towards Delaware Street. So far this season, .304 average for him, 7 hits in 23 at-bats, 10 RBIs, and a home run. He's got 3 home runs in his career with the Cyclones, who play at their home field, the Diamond of Dreams in Hackettstown, New Jersey. That one's fouled back. Over in Warren County. One ball, 2 strikes. Alessandroni kicks and delivers outside. Evan Carbone setting up behind the plate today. We saw Julian Gonzalez behind the dish in our season opener versus DeSales. So Carbone, the senior, getting another shot behind the plate here in this non-conference contest. 2-2. That one's shot out towards short. Smith is there. Throw across the diamond is a little low, but Joseph reels it in, and it's in time. 2 away here in the top of the first. So this will bring up Derek DePace, the catcher.
Number 12, catcher Derek DePace.
DePace, there we go.
You know, Dan, these 2 teams did face each other last year. It did end in a Rutgers-Camden win 10-3, and that was in April. I can't imagine the weather was much better then than it is now.
I remember some April games last year that were very, very lopsided, or I should say very cold in terms of the weather. But the one thing that people dread about sometimes coming to this field is the wind coming off of the Delaware River. You know, it can get quite gusty around here, but today, perfect conditions. As this one is jammed out towards center field, Watson trailing to his left. He'll get called off, and that one is taken in by McAleer and right to retire the side. 1-2-3 frame, the first for the true freshman, Anthony Alessandroni. We'll be right back with the Scarlet Raptors taking their bats to the plate after the break. Welcome back. Starter for the Centenary Cyclones coming in at 1-5 is Adam Yarrison. As a junior in 2025 at a 5.7 ERA, 20 Ks, 7 walks in 17 and a third innings, 1.44 ERA. And again, he's pitched over 70 innings for the Cyclones. Little 3/4 release point, not too bad, and definitely releases a lot of velocity on his fastball, but definitely his killer is the breaking ball. Watched him in warm-ups. He's got a nice sweeper action from Yarrison. We'll get to see how he lines up against the Rutgers-Camden Scarlet Raptors. Let's take a look at their lineup. Jacob Watson, the Delsey grad, in center field, and then we'll see Austin Dubler, the Paul Six grad, at short. Jake Slesarski, the transfer from Mount St. Mary's, is the designated hitter. Ryan Joseph, the first baseman. Will Garral, the third baseman. Chris Smith at short. In left field is in right field is Gavin McCaffrey. The catcher, longtime Rutgers-Camden standout, Evan Carbone. And in left field, Matt McAleer. Pitcher is Anthony Alessandroni. And the first pitch of the bottom of the first to the speedster Watson is right down the pipe for a strike, 0-1. Watson broke the career stolen base record for Rutgers-Camden during his sophomore year before he suffered a season-ending ankle injury down in Central Florida in March. So coming back for opening day, he stole 2 stolen bases in the opening day loss that we were here for. Saw a 5-4 11-inning bout versus DeSales. DeSales had 2 sacrifice flies in the top of the 11th to win it as Watson clubs a curveball to right. This one is deep, and it is off the center of the monster. Watson on his tail. He's going to go for third. This is going to be hard to reel in, and sliding in head first. 3-bagger, Jake Watson.
Man, that was a laser off the bat into right center, and that hit the wall in a hurry.
Hit right next to the 343 sign, and Watson gets himself 3 bases right off the bat. With Dubler now batting.
He made it to third before the ball was even in the infield.
You're right, Gav. It was a laser, but that's not something we see all the time from Jake Watson. Sometimes we see a little bit more of the, he'll get a couple singles and then he'll get a stolen base as he's going to score here. That's an infield single. Austin Dubler, chopper over the middle, and it'll bring in Jake Watson. It's 1-0 Rutgers. So Watson with a triple, and 1 pitch later he scores on the infield hit by Austin Dubler. And now Jake Slesarski will bat as already Derek DePace and Adam Yarrison going out to talk. We said DePace, the public address announcer said DePasse. I'm not sure which is right, but we've got Slesarski the batter now. The Williamstown grad. Came over from Mount St. Mary's, the Division I program. Didn't play a whole lot as a freshman, but that one misses away, 1-0. Rutgers has had a handful of Division I talent transfer into the program over the years, and this year alone, Michael McGinley came over from Ryder. Ryan Nutley was here last year as the throw to first is in time. He tags down Dubler. Kulik disagrees with it, but it'll be a pickoff move for the first out of the inning. It's a quick way to get your momentum back if you're Centenary.
Yeah, that's definitely a confidence booster there. 3 pitches in, you get a run on the board, but it's great to have those bases empty again.
Back to square one now for Adam Yarrison. Breaking ball, strike call. Slesarski having a monster season at the dish so far, as we mentioned. The transfer from Mount St. Mary's listed. That one trickled past Miles Castillo. And we'll see Ryan Joseph bat now. So 3 batters have reached and only 1 out on that pickoff move. 3 hits already. Crowd filing in on this Tuesday afternoon. And folks filing in on the live stream as well. Welcome you aboard here to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting coverage of Division III baseball between Centenary of Hackettstown, New Jersey, in Warren County, and the Rutgers-Camden Scarlet Raptors. This is our second of 3 scheduled games with the Raptors this year. will have one NJAC game on Thursday, April the 9th versus Rowan in a rematch of last year's NJAC championship. But again, the weather from February 21st, our first baseball game of the year, to March the 8th, or March the 10th rather. Quite an interesting one indeed, the 1-1. There's a ground ball. This could be two. Castillo boots it. Joseph's going to get down the line, and he's got a base to reach, as that'll be an error on Castillo at short. And the base runners keep on coming for Rutgers, as now Will Garand will bat.
Rutgers is having a really good time putting bat on ball here and seeing the ball out of the hand.
Will Garand is the batter at third base. All four batters have reached, only one out on the board in the bottom of the first. Garand, first pitch, right field side. That gets down. It's going to trickle past the Centenary right fielder in Berger. Coming in to score will be Slasarski. Joseph right behind him, but Garand too aggressive. He's out at third. It's a two-run double. Pardon, it's Briggs. Got the throw in from right, started the relay, and it's now 3-0 Rutgers-Camden with an early outburst here in the first.
And something to note here is all outs have been on base running. They have not come from the plate.
It's been quite an interesting dichotomy. You don't see it that often, to see runners get thrown out twice in the same inning on the bases. I mean, that was, in hindsight, an aggressive send by Garand. He was out by a handful of steps that time. But the Raptors still lead 3-0 here over Centenary. They scored as many runs in the first inning as they did in all 9 versus DeSales when we saw them a few weeks ago. That one is clubbed out towards left center. That will get down. And a base hit for Chris Smith. That is now 5 hits in 6 batters, and every single batter has reached base. As now we'll go to our number 7 batter in Gavin McCaffrey, Kingsway Gray.
Now batting number 1, the right fielder, Gavin McCaffrey.
So 7 batters in the inning. Carbone and McAleer will follow if the inning continues. And Yarrison taking his time. 4, 5, and 6 to bat for Centenary. That's going to be Briggs, Castillo, and Anthony DeGrande after this. First pitch. Another breaking ball. There's a strike. And again, when I watched Yarrison in warm-ups, that's what I really liked about him. He's got a lot of sweep on his breaking ball. There's not a lot of pitchers, especially at the Division III level. They can make a curveball break, but they can't make it move laterally. And that's one of the things that makes his delivery stand out, especially from the fact that he's using a 3/4 delivery, as that's going to go into right field for a base hit. And dare I say again, the hits keep on coming. 6 hits, 7 batters. And the one that wasn't a hit was put in play. It was an E6. What I really like here for Rutgers-Camden is they are putting the bat on the ball early. None of these at-bats have been over 4 pitches long. They have just been seeing the ball extremely well from Yarrison here early, and they have been delivering easy contact from here on out. And Centenary already getting the gears turning. They're going to start working in the bullpen. This might end the inning, though. Bunt back to the hill, and Carbone on the first pitch gets the side retired. Rutgers leaves 2 runners on, but not without a strong effort. 3 runs come in on a 6-hit effort off of Adam Yarrison. We go to the top of the second here in Camden. Rutgers 3, Centenary 0.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
fielder Andrew Briggs.
Briggs leads us off here in the top of the second. Rutgers-Camden putting up a barrage of offense. Still early, I put on the wrong headset. Here in the top of the second inning. This one is clubbed, left field. Briggs will send the left fielder back. It's off the glove of McCaffrey. That'll be a runner for Centenary and almost certainly an E7 on McCaffrey.
That's all it takes is one base runner to get something going here. It's still very, very early. That is the first base runner allowed in the career for the starter today.
Well, we're not talking about a huge sample size. But Allison Droney, as we said, 1.99 ERA in his senior year with Cinnaminson, was a two-way for the Pirates, led by first-year head coach Alex Injayan, took over for Eric Teasdale. Injayan was an assistant at Cherry Hill West, who's produced a lot of star talent. I mean, you got Ryder Garino getting a lot of appearances for South Carolina, John Young Jr. getting some reps for Alabama. I mean, listen, the fact that you're playing at all in the SEC shows a testament to how quickly South Jersey baseball is growing.
Yeah,
it's the 0-1. Throwback to first, not in time.
It's not just the SEC. Division I and D2 and D3 really have been infiltrated by these South Jersey guys the last 4 years. It's been a big renaissance for baseball in South Jersey. It's becoming really a standout area in the state.
Oh, and a Castillo, he'll show bunt, pops this straight up. Allison Droney gets called off by Will Garral, and that'll be the first out of the inning. And that will bring up the number 6 man in Anthony DeGrande, the DH. You know, I mean, listen, before I came on the scene in South Jersey as a commentator, as a broadcaster, I remember my first year, it was all about, well, which kids are coming out of Gloucester Catholic, which kids are coming out of St. Augustine, you know, the prep schools that can recruit from other areas. But now we're seeing Division I talent flowing out of everything, including, you know, small town public schools, larger public schools. We're seeing it really come from every corner. The 0-1, throwback to first, Allison Droney couldn't get the tag that time from Joseph.
Yeah, I think of Haddon Heights. Caden Bodine comes to mind right away with that.
Played in what many would consider above a mid-major. Coastal Carolina finished runner-up in the D1 College World Series in Omaha. Fell to LSU, albeit controversially, but Bodine was selected 30th overall by the Baltimore Orioles. He was traded this most recent offseason to Tampa Bay in the Shane Baz trade back in December. Throw back to first, is going to get away. Joseph has to hop over Briggs, and he'll get to second. That'll be a throwing error on Allison Droney. And even though it may not mean much right now, that's 2 defensive errors by the Raptors here in the top of the second. So Briggs reached on an E7, and now he'll advance on an E1. That throw missed Ryan Joseph. Joseph had to scramble around the base runner, and Briggs advances to second. 1-1 count here. To DeGrande, the DH. Strike called. In the on-deck circle is number 8, Mike DeSena. But 79 degrees today here at Rutgers-Camden. I'm going to have to look that up after the game if this is the hottest March 10th on record.
I would have to.
I mean, it's got to be up there. That one gets away. That one's going to be a wild pitch as Carbone couldn't corral that one in. And now trailing off of third.
Took a very wide turnaround third.
Yeah, just trying to draw Carbone a little bit, astray, trying to alert him a little bit. But now Centenary, just like that, has a runner on third. If there's any consolation for Allison Droney, if this run scores, as long as it's not a home, well, no matter what, it won't be an earned run. It'll be an unearned against the Cinnaminson grad. There's a ground ball. Third base side. Garral takes the hop. The run will score. The throw is low, and it pops out of the glove of Joseph. A defensive breakdown follows an offensive barrage. 6 hits in the bottom of the first inning, and Rutgers has now committed 3 errors in the top of the second. Centenary's on the board. It's 3-1. This is shocking. And Ryan Kulik's going to come out, and he's going to I don't think this is an Anthony Alessandroni thing. I think he's calling in the entire infield to get their ducks in a row.
Yeah, this is one of those times you'll have to talk about the little things, and there's not
I mean,
much
that
more
wasn't
you
even a
can do.
bad throw from Garral. He took the hop, but it just popped right out of the glove of Joseph.
Ah, well, maybe it's the weather.
Briggs scored on that last play, and now the batter will be DeSena, the first baseman.
I think it's a good thing we're in March, and our big story of the day is how nice it is.
Exactly.
As long as it's not 100 degrees in July, I think we'll be fine.
So Kulik walks away from the mound. Obviously not thrilled with how his defense has been playing because they just let up a run, and they've allowed 3 errors in the infield. Actually, 2 in the infield, 1 in the outfield on McCaffrey in left. As the 0-1, or first pitch rather. I'm all over the place. It's still early in the season, but we'll tell you, we'll get better at it because we've got more baseball this week on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Tune in tomorrow for Region 19 action between the Bergen Bulldogs and the RCSJ Gloucester Roadrunners. Number 1 team in the nation for JUCO Division III. First pitch at 3:30 from Deptford Township, New Jersey. 0-1, tipped foul. Then we'll be back on the air on Friday for softball between Cecil and RCSJ of Elkton, Maryland in a doubleheader. And then we've got 4 baseball games between Saturday and Sunday. 2 games between Ocean County and RCSJ on Saturday, and then 2 games versus the Monroe Broncos on Sunday, March the 15th. That one's high. But we've got a lot of Rowan College games coming up in between the start of our high school baseball season in March 23rd and today. Counts 1-2 here to Mike DeSena out of Pine Bush, New York, the junior. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Alessandroni out of the stretch, misses low. Carbone corrals it in. Again, we kind of said it off the cuff before we started, but this could be a high-scoring affair. Wind is blowing straight out to right field. And if you've got a lot of powerful lefties, or even guys who can hit oppo, that can certainly be your friend. Throw back to first, not in time. Joseph, ball popped out of his glove again, but this time it stays close to him and he hangs on to it.
Yeah, that is something we saw Rutgers-Camden do in that first inning, was take the ball the other way. I think they got about 3 hits from doing that.
6 hits in the bottom of the first, 7 batters reached for Rutgers-Camden, and they now hold a 3-1 lead, 2-2. That one's away. Full count now from Alessandroni to DeSena. DeSena is a true freshman in 2024, played in 23 games, 319 average. This one's hit out towards center field for DeSena. Watson going back. He'll make the catch, and there's 2 away as DeSena tagged that ball well, but they'll get the runner back to first. 2 down here in the second inning. R.J. Fiore, the batter, out of Jersey City. Redshirted last year for Centenary. This season, 5 at-bats, 1 hit, so a 200 batting average and 1 RBI. And that's really been all we can get on him so far. Only game where he had more than 1 at-bat with versus Rutgers Newark, as that one gets fouled back. It'll be tipped, and it's 0-2. 0-1, rather. No balls, 1 strike. Low part of the zone, catches. That time it's 0-2. By the end of March, we'll have it settled down. We do, what, 80 to 90 baseball games throughout the year? We all got to find our chops somehow. But it's 3-1, Rutgers-Camden. Centenary trying to extend their stay here in the top of the second and trying to increase their offensive production. They got a run here in the second thanks to 3 errors in the field. Briggs reached on an error in left. He advanced to second on an error by the pitcher, Alessandroni, and then he scored on an E3 off the bat of DeGrande. out towards short. Smith on the run. He'll get there. And the inning is over. Bang, bang play at second, but he gets the fielder's choice. As through 1.5, it's Rutgers-Camden 3, Centenary 1. Bottom of the second, this broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on their first attempt. Book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, 614 Lambs Road, just minutes from Route 55. Bottom of the second inning, Rutgers-Camden put up a 3 spot in the bottom of the first. They're going to be looking to get even better as that one's roped in the left center field. Almost went for a dive, couldn't grab it though, and that's a base hit. Another one for Rutgers, this time for Matt McAleer, and that's how the offense starts here in the bottom of the second.
And attacking that first pitch again, that's a strategy they've had all day.
So they've got a runner on now as McAleer gets the knock. That's now the 7th hit for Rutgers-Camden here in the first 2 frames, as still teeing up off of Adam Yerrison. That one is a pick off the first, not in time. With Watson roped a triple to right center field in his first at bat. That one is poked out towards the pitcher. He's going to let it roll. Oh,
wow.
How about that? That's a talk about a shot of precision. Jacob Watson bunted it down the third base line, and it nearly landed on the foul line. He's got a bunt single, and he's 2 for 2, 2 on.
I don't think you can draw it up better than that.
No chance. Because at that point, you're not going to get him. The only mercy you're going to get is having it called a foul ball. That's the only way you're going to get out of it. How about this? Runners on first and second. Now for Dubler. Hill bunt. Small ball continues, barehanded by Yerrison. First baseman, second baseman wasn't covering. DeSena moved in because he thought the ball was going to go down the first base line, and Yerrison, beside himself, he is frustrated, and now we're going to get a visit from the Centenary staff. That's going to be head coach Andrew Romanella coming out. There is a lefty warming up in the pen. We'll see if that's the end of his day or if it's just a talk, but we'll see who's warming up down there, left field side.
Well, 3 hitters, 3 hits. Definitely in need of some kind of conversation here as the barrage from Rutgers-Camden does continue. Last inning, notably, I believe all 3 outs were not from the plate, and they have still yet to get a batter out by strikeout or flyout.
Yeah, it's been a little bit odd today, but still working it out here, making sure everybody's on the same page. Bit of a longer mound visit, and he'll pull off now. Bases loaded. Nobody out here in the bottom of the second as Jake Slesarski will bat. Let's take a look again at who's warming up over there. I know they got a guy simulating a batter, but he's blocking the jersey number of the pitcher. Number 9. First pitch missed to Slesarski with the bases loaded. Aiden Garena, the lefty, is in the bullpen for Centenary. Sophomore out of PCTI in Patterson. Slesarski batting .478 this year. Already has a homer, 4 extra base hits total, and 7 RBI. Has a chance to do something big here with the bases loaded. 2-0. At the letters, 3-0 now. I mean, this has been a barrage here from Rutgers-Camden, and it's not like the barrage that you see at the high school level where you see a lot of walks and errors. This has been just pure hitting. As Slesarski fouls it back. So McAleer had a base hit. Watson had an infield single. And then Dubler had an infield single. 2 of them on bunts, the latter 2 on bunts. 3 balls, 1 strike to Slesarski. Lines this one into right field. That's going to drop in front of the right fielder. That'll be a base hit. They're going to stop Watson at third. Now they're going to throw back to second, and the throw gets away. That'll bring in the second run. After all, now they'll throw to third. He is safe. 5-1 Rutgers, as now they're going to pull in the lefty, Jake Slesarski, 2-run single down the right field line. He tried to find, wow, he tried, listen, he went right in front of Briggs there down the right field line.
Looked like he got his foot in at the perfect time there down at third.
It'll be 5-1. We'll have a pitching change. We'll be back after the break. Aiden Garena is the new pitcher out of PCTI, facing Ryan Joseph. First pitch inside. It's 5-1 Rutgers-Camden. 3 2/3 innings this year. Picked up 2 innings versus Manhattanville. There's a swing and a miss. Other 2 appearances pitched in 2 games of the 3-game set versus New Paltz. Picked up the win in 2/3 of an inning, and then picked up a loss in 1 inning of work. That one's lined foul towards the Centenary dugout, and it's 1-2. Last season had 5 appearances in 5 innings and a 9.00 ERA. Holds a career .308 batting average against. Going to try to get those numbers down today. Here's a ground ball, third base side. They'll say that it's foul. Joseph ran it down the line, but the home plate umpire had the final say. They'll call this foul. It'll remain 1-2. But again, just 4 hits in a row this inning. That's 10 in the first 2 frames. And there's still nobody out here. One ball, 2 strikes to Joseph. Will Garral, the third baseman, in the on-deck circle. 1-2. Way up and away. DePace kept that one in, and it's 2-2. Centenary got a run on an error in the top of the second. And there's a swing and a miss. First strikeout of the game for Centenary, and it's the first out of the second inning. Will Garral will be the batter. So bases loaded, 1 out. I mean, listen, definitely not the best case scenario, but not the worst case scenario to strike out swinging and ride a good at bat. As that one hits Garral in the ankle. Oh, he's immediately going to the dugout. Well, his momentum kind of carried him there. He was hobbling on 1 foot, and he kind of crashed into his coach, Ryan Kulik. He's going to shake it off, though, and he's going to walk down the first base line. I mean, when he got hit, he went out of the batter's box and just started going right towards it. But he'll be okay. I mean, his momentum just took him there. And it'll get first base reoccupied. Strike call.
Rutgers-Camden there with a little bit of issues shown on that call.
Can't argue balls and strikes, though. That's what the home plate umpire's for. Here's the 0-1. They'll get one back here with a ground ball in the right field for Chris Smith. 1 run comes in. Here comes Slasarski around third. He'll score. 2-run single, Chris Smith. And it's now 7-1, Rutgers-Camden. Gets the 0-1 fastball and drills it in the right on the ground for a 2-run single. And here in non-conference play, Rutgers-Camden looking pretty good here with 4 runs here in the second. There's a strike called on McCaffrey. This is already going to be the 7th batter of the inning. That one is tapped foul. No balls, 2 strikes to McCaffrey. McCaffrey, the sophomore out of Kingsway, 5'9", 160, transfer from Misericordia as they won the Division III Baseball World Series in 2024. That one got away. It's going to be a passed ball on DePace, and now both runners are going to move up. Smith to second, Garral to third. And still only 1 out in the inning. So trying to hold the fort down. Aiden Jarena, that one's hit out towards center field, and they're going to let it drop. It was a straightaway fly ball. Could have run in and got it, but that's going to be an RBI single for Gavin McCaffrey, and it's 8-1. 5 runs here in the second inning. Evan Carbone will be the 9th batter of the inning. So scoring that time was Garral, Smith to third, McCaffrey to second. Or no, excuse me. Smith. Now Smith will score. Now McCaffrey will go to second. 9-1. Ball goes towards the bullpen. McCaffrey holds. 6-run inning. We've only got one out here in the second.
Well, of all things, the pickoff has been a big mover for base runners today.
It's moved a lot of guys around, and again, Rutgers-Camden certainly enjoys the offensive cushion after the 3 errors in the field in the top of the second. On the edge of the rubber, first pitch missed outside, 1-0. And Centenary is going to need all the breaks they can get, so a lefty-lefty matchup coming up here with Carbone, and then you've got another one in Watson coming 2 batters later. They're going to need it as the 1-0 is away. 2 balls, no strikes. But one thing that I'll say is that even though the wind is blowing out, nothing has left the yard. Out of the barrage of hits we have seen today, there have only been 2 extra base hits. The 2-run double by Girl in the bottom of the first, and Watson's leadoff triple. That's a strike called. And Centenary wasting no time. They're already getting a right-hander warming up in the pen. Can't tell down there. It's a little bit difficult. Our camera's been dealing with a little bit of issues today. It's not been our best work. I apologize. But two balls, 2 strikes to Carbone. Runner on second in McCaffrey. That one's poked out toward first. DeSena's going to come in. He'll tag the bag for out number 2. And it moves McCaffrey to third. 3 unassisted. We have now batted around, and we go back to where we started with Matt McAleer. No balls, 1 strike to McAleer. Picked up the base hit, came around to score earlier this inning. 3 runs in the first, 6 runs in the second. That one missed. 2-1.
He's got a very interesting stretch the way he starts it out, with the glove almost open towards the catcher.
That is interesting, I'll tell you that.
I'm trying to figure out, I think he might be reading the wristband to get the sign. I'm not sure.
Got a ship coming underneath the Ben Franklin Bridge. The 2-2. Don't see that every day. Saw a news story the other day that said that cruise ships are going to start coming into Philadelphia and docking here instead of all the folks that have to go to cruises going to New York. That one's popped up. Castillo is there and the inning is over. But Rutgers continues their offensive push with a 6th spot. After 2 frames here in Camden, this game's moving along, but it is 9-1 after 2.
Book Dog Pro Wrestling for your next event or outing for the greatest action that New Jersey Pro Wrestling has to offer. Any place, any time, any setting, Dog Pro Wrestling will bring the action to you, and you won't want to miss it for moments like this. But don't just take it from me. Take it from Max Mundo, the Dog Pro Wrestling ambassador.
This is Max Mundo with Dog Pro Wrestling. Are you a civic organization, sporting club looking to fundraise? Then look no further to Dog Pro Wrestling. We do grand openings, corporate events, and much more.
And why not from some of the wrestling talent themselves?
I'm Vinny the Fixer, and I'm the champion of Dog Professional Wrestling. If you want to book the best, come see us. We're the cream of the crop. We'll come to any fundraiser you can think of. Just name the place and we'll show up.
This is the upstanding Dylan Mesh, and for the entirety of my professional wrestling career, dog wrestling has been a mainstay for where I like to wrestle. So you can believe me when I say that it is quality. And I'm upstanding. I'm the only opinion you need.
Yeah! It's your boy Gabriel Hodder here with my man Matthew Oman.
Welcome back. 2 innings gone here at Rutgers-Camden. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Gavin Van Rel on the call. First pitch is upstairs to Simeon Reed. Leads the team in batting average.
Oh, we got another boat going under.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Rivers are active today. Appeal to first says no. Simeon Reed, .438 average this year, 7 for 16, has 1 RBI. But he's gotten on base via 3 walks and 3 hit by pitches. And he pokes this one out towards second base. Will not beat it out down the line, though, and there's one away here in the third. So we'll go back to the top of the order for Frischia.
Number 37, Frischia.
9-1 here in the top of the third. 6 runs for Rutgers-Camden in the bottom half of the second. But Rutgers-Camden not out of the woods yet as they've picked up 3 errors in the field. That one's roped out towards right by Frischia. That's going to get down for a base hit, and it gets past McAleer and right. Going to second will be Frischia. He'll stop there. That's a stand-up double down the right field line. So with 1 out, that'll be a double for Frischia. And Chiego will be the batter here with a runner in scoring position. Chance to get something home. And notably enough, that's the first hit of the day off of Alessandroni. That one's grounded out towards second, picked up. Throw to first is in time from Dubler, and there's 2 down now. Runner moves quickly over to third, though. And the batter will be DePace, the catcher. So a double by Frischia, first hit of the day, now moves over to third. I mean, Centenary's just trying to get something going because the more that you don't put runs on the board, the more innings that you don't put anything on the board, Rutgers-Camden seems like they're going to keep pouring it on as they get a scoreless third. 3 groundouts in the field. We'll go to the bottom of the third, a quick top half. Rutgers-Camden will try to put some more on the board, maybe double digits total. Not in the inning. 9-1, we'll go to the bottom of the third. Jacob Watson leads us off here in the bottom of the third inning. 9-1 Rutgers-Camden. 3 runs in the first, 6 in the second. Hard to believe a scenario that Rutgers-Camden doesn't continue to put up any more runs, but Watson's going to club this one out toward right field, down the line. It is gone! So you say you're going to put up some more runs, will you? Jacob Watson, known for his speed, gets that ball out in a hurry, and it's 10-1.
And he is now a double away from the cycle, triple to lead off the game, that beautiful bunt single, and 1 pitch, 1 home run here to start the third.
Jacob Watson down the right field line. What a night he's had. Triple, single, and a home run now in 3 innings. And he takes Aiden Gennara deep. So Aiden Gennara gives up the home run. And it's 10-1. 1-0 to Dubler. It's a ground ball out to first. DeSena has it. Now he's got to beat Dubler to the bag, and he does. So 1 away as Dubler just couldn't get that one down the line. He was 2 for 2 going into that at bat. Now we'll see Jake Slesarski. How about that? First 2 innings. Slesarski, Dubler, and Watson, the first 3 batters in the order, went 6 for 6 in their combined at-bats in the first 2 innings. And that hit by Watson was the lucky number 13 of the day. As Watson, again, leadoff guy, not exactly a power bat by any means, but was able to get that one out of the yard. As that one's away.
And something to notice again, Rutgers-Camden really has had a great eye today. When that ball's in the zone, they have put bat on ball, and it's been very successful.
1-1 is popped up by Slesarski. Wind might carry this one down the line, and it is played in right by Briggs. DeSena had a read on it, but good job by Briggs to bring that one in down the line. And there's 2 down. Here's Ryan Joseph, and now they're going to call for the right-hander. Pitching change with 2 down here in the bottom of the third. But Jacob Watson drilling a home run to right field over the right field monster here in Camden. It's double digits for the Scarlet Raptors. 10-1, 2 outs in the bottom of the third when we return. Welcome back. Third pitcher of the game in for Centenary, Anthony Frazier. the senior. 5.61 career ERA. Has a 1.8 mark, though, in his senior season in 3 appearances, 5 innings. Just 1 earned run, 3 walks, 2 Ks. He faces Ryan Joseph with 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd. But Jacob Watson got the 3rd inning started with a solo home run on the first pitch. His first, we did confirm, it's his first career home run in a Scarlet Raptors uniform, an over-veer moment. You know, just felt like the roof was going to lift off when he hit that one out, but that is his first home run. I would have thought he would have had an inside the Parker or something by now with how pitcher-friendly this ballpark is, but it's 1-2.
That home run actually reminds me of Bryson Stott's first home run against the Angels back in 2022, I believe. It was a
his
blowout.
First career home run?
His first career home run. It was a blowout game. It was a Friday night. I was there, but.
Well, we always remember games better when we're there.
Well, Mike Trout came to town, Shohei Ohtani.
Like my first Phillies game. I'll tell you, I was actually, I think I was 6 years old. It was August 18th, 2010. Dominic Brown hit one halfway into the second deck, some 440 feet. Joseph pokes this one out past Frazier, out to second. Underhand flip is in time, and the inning is over. But Jacob Watson with a solo blast to right to end the 3rd. 10-1 Rutgers. Top of the 4th inning, you're watching coverage of Division III NCAA baseball on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. If you'd like to make a contribution to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, you can send us anything you'd like on our Venmo at DW Broadcasting. Of course, not required because every DWB live stream is free to watch, but whatever you can possibly send over would be incredibly appreciated. It goes towards travel costs, equipment expenses, and taking care of our wonderful crew. All of us college students, most of us college students, but today's crew got Vincent Focht out of Camden County College, Gavin Van Rel, a Rutgers-Camden student himself in his first year, and myself of Rowan College of South Jersey. There's going to be a check swing. They'll say that he went, and there's one away in the top of the 4th. So Allison Droney picks up another strikeout, his 2nd of the day and the 1st since the leadoff batter. As we'll now see Castillo take the dish.
Something about this Rutgers-Camden team and these freshmen, they are relying heavily on them to start this season, and they have delivered so far. It's been really a sight to see here for a school that mostly recruits South Jersey kids.
Yeah, we saw true freshman Gabe McCracken get the Rookie NJAC Pitcher of the Week honors with 6 shutout innings in a non-conference game last week. He is joined by his teammate Nick Caladros, also a true freshman out of Audubon in the class of 2025. That ball's hit out towards shallow center. Smith can't get there. Watson can't get there. McCaffrey takes it, and it's a base hit for Castillo. And we'll have a one-out base runner here for DeGrande.
Number 6, Anthony DeGrande.
Really notable about that McCracken appearance. He's been exposed to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting several amounts of times, but he really has come alive with his velocity now that he's entered college.
It's going to be a double play, 4-6-3, as Alessandroni rolls a double play ball with DeGrande. Umpire checks his glove, and no complaints there. Going to the bottom of the fourth, it's 10-1 Rutgers-Camden. Welcome back, bottom of the fourth inning. If you're unfamiliar with what DWB does for baseball, we have something called trivia time in the bottom of the fourth inning. What we used to do is we would have the question in the top of the fourth, and we'd reveal the answer in the bottom of the fourth. But this year, we're doing it a little bit differently. We're going to reveal the question now, and you will get to comment your answer, A, B, C, or D. And regardless of whether you're right or wrong, you will have your name added to a leaderboard, or your YouTube handle added to a leaderboard. And at the end of the season, all the way in early August, we'll have whoever has the most right answers throughout the season will have a Dan Wilkins Broadcasting merchandise package. That includes a winter beanie, a hoodie, a trucker hat, and a drawstring backpack. As this ball is hit out towards right center field for Will Gurl, it is caught in right field. Briggs brings it down for a spectacular catch for the first out of the inning.
That right center alley gets really deep, so quite incredible to see him get on his horse there and really track that one down.
Props to him, absolutely. But we were talking about trivia time. Let's get that question up real quick. Today's question is, who hit the first ever home run for the Philadelphia Phillies at Citizens Bank Park when it opened in 2004? There's a base hit to right. Your options are A, Bobby Abreu, B, Chase Utley, C, Jimmy Rollins, or D, Pat Burrell. We'll reveal the answer with 2 outs in the inning. So get your comments in now, and then we are going to reveal the answer. And if you're right, we'll add your YouTube username to a leaderboard. As the first pitch is called a strike to Gavin McCaffrey. So Will Gurl flew out to right field with a fantastic catch by Briggs. And then Smith, now 3 for 3. He has a base hit. Throw back to first, not in time.
Well, I put my comment in. I think I know who it is.
Yeah, I don't think I'm counting that one, Gav.
No, I didn't Google it. I swear.
I mean, you're standing right next to me, though, so.
I can't see the answer.
It's a conflict of interest.
Okay.
0-1 is a swing and a miss. Back pick way high, goes into right field. DePace overshot his first baseman, and that's going to get another runner down to second. So Smith will advance.
You gotta love playing on turf with all the bounces and hops that it takes. It's the best unpredictability.
Well, what I would say is that I see at the high school level, I mean, a lot of high school teams play on this field. They'll have maybe 1 or 2 games a year as a specialty on this field, or maybe they'll get a night game here and there. But one of the things that really sticks out, as this one poked out towards second, on one knee, throw to first is in time, moves Smith over to third, and now Carbone will bat. But my point is that, you know, when we're talking about high school teams, very few of those players and the teams are familiar with playing on a turf surface. It's just something that a lot of programs aren't used to. And I don't know how often Centenary plays on a turf surface at the collegiate level. I honestly haven't looked to see if their home field, the Diamond of Dreams in Hackettstown, I don't know if that's a natural grass or turf surface. But what I will tell you is that most college teams that are not Division I don't seem to be prepared for the turf surface, especially when it's all turf. We've seen a mix of both. We've seen stuff where the grass is turf, but the dirt and the pitcher's mound and the infield, that is all, natural, but then the grass is synthetic. So we've seen a little bit of everything, but when you have an entirely turf surface, it does make the hop of the ball very different. It makes it different in the rain. It makes it different when it's cold, and it has a stiffer bounce to it. It's a lot different than a natural grass surface, and these infielders and the outfielders, for that matter, have to get used to it. That one's fouled straight back, 1-2.
Well, yeah, this field specifically really has opened its doors the past couple of years to having those high school teams come in. I think of the new Camden County tournament that started up a few years back, and most notably, I'd say last year at the start of playoffs for public schools.
That one's hit into right field. No, it stopped at second. What a play, and he got him. He held on to the bag at first. A fantastic dive at second base by R.J. Fiore. And for the first time today, Rutgers is kept off the board. We go to the top of the 5th inning. We did forget about our trivia time, but we'll get that at the start of the top of the 5th. We'll be right back. 10-1, Rutgers-Camden.
Book Dog Pro Wrestling for your next event or outing for the greatest action that New Jersey Pro Wrestling has to offer. Any place, any time, any setting, Dog Pro Wrestling will bring the action to you, and you won't want to miss it for moments like this. But don't just take it from me. Take it from Max Mundo, the Dog Pro Wrestling ambassador.
This is Max Mundo with Dog Pro Wrestling. Are you a civic organization, sporting club looking to fundraise? Then look no further to Dog Pro Wrestling. We do grand openings, corporate events, and much more.
And why not from some of the wrestling talent themselves?
I'm Vinny the Fixer, and I'm the champion of dog professional wrestling. If you want to book the best, come see us. We're the cream of the crop. We'll come to any fundraiser you can think of. Just name the place and we'll show up.
This is the upstanding Dylan Mesh, and for the entirety of my professional wrestling career, dog wrestling has been a mainstay for where I like to wrestle. So you can believe me when I say that it is quality. And I'm upstanding. I'm the only opinion you need.
Yeah! It's your boy Gabriel Hodder here with my man Matthew Oman, and if you want your events to be all fight, no flight,
Then book Dog Wrestling so you can witness true primal fear.
woo!
Welcome back. Top of the 5th inning. Allison Droney still working. Want to make a correction. It was Chris Clark, the second baseman, who made the play. Number 18 came in for R.J. Fiore. But we were going to talk about trivia time. Today's question is, who was the first Phillies player to hit a home run in the history of Citizens Bank Park, as that's going to be a sliding stop. Smith falls on his rear. That'll be an infield single for DeSena. The options are A, Bobby Abreu, B, Chase Utley, C, Jimmy Rollins, or D, Pat Burrell. I'm going to get answers from both of you. Gavin, what do you think? And Vincent, what do you think?
Well, I thought it was Bobby Abreu. That was the commented guess, but I'm having second thoughts. So.
And Vince, what do you think? He's going to say Pat Burrell. The correct answer is A, Bobby Abreu. So it was a very rainy day in Philadelphia. It was very early April 2004, and it was hit off of Paul Wilson of the Cincinnati Reds. But fun fact, that was also the only run the Phillies scored in that home opener in April of 2004. They lost the game 4-1. But hard to believe that Citizens Bank Park is over 20 years old now, because a lot of people, remember it as the modern successor to the Vet, which it is, but it itself is no longer one of the, quote, new ballparks in Major League Baseball, This will be a fun trivia question for later, but the National League East, as here's a ground ball to third. Gurl steps back, not going to get the runner at second. They'll throw to first, and they'll get the one hop there. So that will bring up Reed now as Clark grounds out to third. There's one away here in the top of the fifth. But, no, with all that being said, there is no ballpark in the National League East that is older than 2000. Truist Park in Atlanta was 2017. Lone Depot Park in Miami, 2012. Phillies, 2004. Citi Field, 2009. As that one got away from Smith there. He tried to backpick it as he was getting the runner down at second, and the ball ricocheted off his glove and further towards his position at short. But nobody advances. But Citi Field, 2009. Nationals Park, 2008. So all the ballparks. Actually, the Phillies have the oldest in the National League East, and stadium's entering its 22nd year. Here's a bunt. Reed up the third baseline. Gurl misses it. And that'll put runners on the corners here for Centenary, as we go back to the top of the order for Frischia.
Well, just like that first run scored for Centenary, it was off errors and bunts and small ball, and we're looking right back to where we were in that second inning. However, Rutgers-Camden has quite a few more runs on the board than they did at that time.
Frischia, 1 for 2. Had a double in the top of the third. Runner goes. Carbone fakes the throw. Decided not to attack him down at second. And they'll now have two runners in scoring position here.
To get back to what you were saying, the best part about Citizens Bank Park is it doesn't feel like it's over 20 years old.
There's a ground ball. Allison Droney picks it. Now he's got a runner coming to the plate. Here comes a pickle. They're going to trail him right back to third. Now Gurl gets the tag, and there's two outs. So way to save a run there as Allison Droney plays the long game, and that is going to be a 1-2-5. Doesn't feel like it was that much, but it was standard pickle. Trapped the runner down the third base line, and there's two outs now, 2 on. And instead of having two runners in scoring position, you kind of revert to where you were with first and second now.
Yeah, that's a great piece of fielding there from the freshman. It really comes down to it looked like the runner almost got back to third. A late throw.
Yeah, he almost did. That was close. But, yeah, once he got down there, though, there was really no way he was going to get out of it with Carbone and Gurl backing him up. There was really no gap that opened up. And that's where you're not going to get any luck out of it. The 0-1. Hit out towards right center field. Watson's going to go back. And that one drops. It gets past McAleer. That's going to get home Reed. Here comes Frischia. Throw to third is in time as the throw comes in. But the umpire does say, and correctly so, that both runs count. We're halfway home here in Camden. Centenary gets 2 back on the board on a 2-run double to right by Chiego. It's 10-3. Welcome back. Bottom of the fifth inning. This broadcast is brought to you by the South Jersey chapter of the National Adult Baseball Association. Premier Men's League Baseball in South Jersey, 20 teams, 4 highly competitive divisions. Registration is open for the spring with games beginning just later this month. Visit their website at southjerseynaba.com for more information.
Well, something to look at right here. We can't exclude this at bat, but I see who's in the on-deck circle, and
Jacob Watson.
I love me some Cycle, so I wouldn't mind seeing that come up.
We'll have to see, though, as he's had 3 hits in 3 innings. A triple in the first, and arguably that's the hardest part for a lot of batters. But for Jacob Watson, the speed that he has, the home run is probably the hardest part of the cycle for Jake Watson, is the throw to first. McAleer takes a dive. He is out, and he ended up maybe getting wiped out there down the line. As now here is Jacob Watson with a chance. We know he's going to get, unless he gets pinch hit for, he's going to have at least another chance for a cycle.
Something else to note before this at bat. In 2 pitchers, he's only seen 6 pitches today.
Yeah, the first pitch was a triple, and the first pitch was a home run. Might have been the second pitch was a triple, but triple in the first, single in the second, home run in the third. We have a violation on the pitcher here. So a ball is going to be added to the count. It's now 2-0. Not sure if it was for an illegal pitch or something in his motion. There's a strike called, 2-1. Watson needs a double for the cycle. Hit his first career home run in the 3rd inning. 2 balls, 1 strike. Strike called, 2-2.
I'm not sure if he was getting set too early. That could have been it.
Yeah, it might have been a procedural thing where he was just not, had to wait for the, got to wait for the umpire's signal sometimes. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That ball's hit out towards right field. It's going to be down the line, and it's off the wall. He's going to get to second base. If he holds up there, he's got a cycle in 5 innings. Save that baseball. Jacob Watson has hit for the cycle.
Well, we were looking for it, and we got it.
A double in the 5th inning down the line. He's got 4 hits, and it comes along with his first career home run in a Rutgers-Camden uniform. Not only that, it's the first cycle that we've ever covered on DWB. Great stuff there from Jacob Watson.
That's the first cycle we've ever had?
In over 200 baseball games.
That's
across all levels. Yeah. It's hard to do.
It is. Well,
and listen,
shows right there.
90% of what we cover is high school games. Home runs are few and far between in those. There's a fly ball to center field. Reed is there. Watson's going to tag. He's going to hold, though, and on a hop, he made the right decision.
Well, you can definitely thank that wall out in right field.
Yeah, that might have been that. Listen, if that wall was a little bit shorter, that would have been gone for a second time. But it'll be Slesarski now after the fly out to center by Dubler. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Slesarski, again, a Division I transfer from Mount St. Mary's. There's a strike called. Ryan Joseph of CCTS in the on-deck circle out of Winslow Township in Camden County. No balls, 1 strike. Shortstop looking back at the bag. This one's grounded. Chopped it to third. Picked up. Fired across the way. And it's in time. But even though Rutgers has held off the board, Jacob Watson, put your hands together for his first career cycle. We go to the top of the 6th. It's 10-3, Rutgers-Camden.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is the responsibility of all of us to make sure that our friends, family, and anybody who we hold dear in our lives is feeling well. The problem with spotting mental health issues is that the symptoms aren't that obvious. Just because someone is okay or appears okay on the outside doesn't mean that they're okay on the inside. It's important that if they are in distress, that they call the right people and they get the help that they need. And it is very important that we treat each other with respect, regardless of who you are or where you come from. But it is just as important that we treat ourselves with respect, regardless of the situation going on in our lives. If you're in distress, you can call this number, 988, or you can visit any of these websites if you're not in distress, but would like to learn more information about mental health awareness and research.
Top of the sixth inning. Our next broadcasts on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting we'll have baseball tomorrow in the afternoon for Division III junior college ball in the NJCAA between the Bergen Bulldogs and the RCSJ Gloucester Roadrunners. First pitch at 3:30. That first game of the home and home is ongoing. This will be the home half of the two-game set. And then on Friday, we'll have softball for the home of the Roadrunners versus the Cecil Seahawks of Maryland in non-region play. First pitch of Game 1 will be at 3 and estimated 5 o'clock for Game 2. Then we've got 4 games in 2 days on Saturday and Sunday. We'll have a doubleheader both days for the baseball team at RCSJ as they face off against the Ocean County College Vikings on Saturday and the Monroe Broncos on Sunday. For both doubleheaders, games start at 12 p.m. 2 balls, 1 strike. Allison Droney still working here in the 6th as that one's above the letters here to DePace. 3, 4, and 5 meted the order for Centenary, with Rutgers-Camden holding a 7-run lead. There is a right-hander warming up in the pen for the Scarlet Raptors, and a handful of gentlemen that are standing around. As that will be ball 4. DePace gets the walk, and it's Allison Droney's first free pass of the afternoon.
Number 28, Andy Briggs.
Rutgers-Camden does have a few guys now lining up on that foul line to start warming up. No hurry to get them in, though.
Yeah, Allison Droney's been doing good. Back pick to first. Oh! He wiped out. He fell on top of the bag, but they're going to say he's safe. DePace with a very awkward fall. He seems to be okay. I think he slipped off the bag, but he went in first standing. And they also had an appeal on the check swing, so Rutgers got neither of their appeals. They'll say he's safe at first, and they'll say that he did not go around. So 1-0 runner on first for Briggs. Made a very nice play in right field. Carbone wanted another back pick, didn't take it though. Nobody warming up in the Centenary bullpen. Anthony Frazier still on, looking like he's going to get another inning from the Cyclones. Sean Glenn is the one warming up down the right field line in the bullpen. Throw back to first, not in time. Number 24, Sean Glenn, junior out of GCIT. And from Swedesboro, New Jersey, in Gloucester County. 1 ball, 1 strike. Breaking ball, hit out towards left. That one's high, down the line. And he's going to run out of room for McCaffrey. It's out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Gavin Van Rel. You're watching coverage of NCAA Division III. The JUCO will be tomorrow, but NCAA Division III baseball here from Camden, New Jersey. The picturesque Camden Athletic Complex. That this is our second time here this year, and I'm sure it'll be the second of many. As Girl, bounce throw, 1 hop, he got him, and Briggs is retired at first. It's the first out of the 6th.
Well, not to beat a dead horse, but this place is the most beautiful stadium in South Jersey. I'll
Without
make
a
the call.
doubt.
It's every few months I'll be on Twitter and I'll see is this the greatest stadium in New Jersey or in college baseball? And there'll be a couple. This will always be there. Here, Appalachian State.
BYU with those Rocky Mountains.
And there's a university in New York. I can't remember the name, but
One's fouled back towards the street. So you were saying there was a university in New York.
yeah, I'd have to find the picture. It's got the city as the backdrop, and it is beautiful. I don't think it's better than this. I'll have to find it. I just saw it the other day.
Well, I remember, I was on Mackenzie Cochran's radio show a few weeks ago, All Access, as a part of 90.3 WMSC Montclair State's radio. And, she showed me around the campus. She showed me around the communications building. And every single corner that there was a window, you could see the New York City skyline. Diving was Joseph Alessandroni, goes to cover the bag. He got him. That's going to be a somewhat rare 4-1 putout as Joseph dove to his right. And Castillo will be retired, but not in vain as he moves the pace up to third. There's 2 down here in the top of the 6th here. But, yeah, I mean, every single open window that there was, you could see New York City. And, it really shows how great it is to be in Jersey because, from my place, I'm 10 minutes from Philadelphia, 2 hours from New York City, 2 hours from Baltimore, and maybe 3 from Washington, D.C. 4 of the biggest cities in the U.S., all in a line. If I really wanted to make a trip up to something like Boston, that's only 5 or 6 hours. I went out to St. Louis in June, had a vacation there, saw 2 St. Louis Cardinals games, 2 Kansas City Royals games. There's a ground ball. That's going to get out to center field. That's a base hit and an RBI as DeGrande gets a run off of Alessandroni, and it's 10-4 with 2 outs here in the 6th. So an RBI single. It's the second RBI for DeGrande. And with 2 away, he scores the pace for DeSena now. But, yeah, I mean, we flew into St. Louis, got a rental car, and drove over to Kansas City. But it was a 3-hour drive with almost nothing in between for the St. Louis and Kansas City. There was really not a lot of places to stop. It was I-70, wide open spaces, and not a lot in between. Maybe the University of Missouri that was a little bit south, but that was about it.
I think I found it, and I was mixing up New York with Chicago. It was the University of Illinois.
Yes, UIC,
Chicago.
yes, Curtis Granderson Field.
Yep.
That ball's hit well out towards center field. Watson backpedaling towards the warning track, and he's got the catch in center field. So the Cycleman picks up another defensive play in center field as he retires DeSena, the first baseman, to end the inning. Centenary gets one back from DeGrande, and we'll go to the bottom of the 6th here at Rutgers. We have a pitching change and a defensive change. Anthony Frazier is out, and in is a side armor in Drew Oppenheim out of Wayne Hills. Also into the game at shortstop is Vincent DeGrotto out of Staten Island, New York. He takes over for Miles Castillo.
He is a very, very low slot on that sidearm. It almost reminds me of Tyler Rogers, but he's a little higher. Usually sidearm, it's a little iffy here and there.
Well, the thing is that there's a difference between sidearm and submarine. Tyler Rogers is a full-on submarine pitcher, but listen, I like the fact that there are still pitchers today that throw from the sidearm angle or throw from, for example, the starter, Adam Yarrison, threw from a three-quarters angle. This team is not afraid to bring out some unique arm slots because there is a little bit of an obsession in baseball and in modern baseball coaching that you have to throw a certain way or you have to throw in the exact way that we tell you to. If this is what works, oh, that hit him in the helmet. That hit Ryan Joseph square in the helmet, and he is going down. So the 3-0 went up. He seems like he's all right, and he's going to run this one back down to first. Just needed a second to walk it off. And Joseph getting some help from his coach, but now he's all right. So Will Gurl will be the batter.
Well, that can be one of the issues with sidearm is you do have a lack of control and a lack of velocity in exchange for that odd arm angle.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you sacrifice velocity with the sidearm. You sacrifice a little bit of control. I think the closest guy I could describe him to would, I mean, it's really difficult. That just hit Will Gurl. So back-to-back hit by pitches here. But I don't know. I wouldn't say Chad Bradford because,
well, he throws funny.
Yeah. Bradford was super low. Tyler Rogers is super low.
Well, Moneyball brought attention to the sidearm.
Well, it certainly was a thing before then. Maybe like Dan Quisenberry of the Royals. But that would be the only thing I could think of. But, again, even though this isn't really working right now, I mean, you got 2 hit by pitches. My one thing is that I think that in the philosophy of modern baseball coaching, we have become, not we specifically, but a lot of people have become ultra obsessed with, hitting one way or pitching one way. If you watch a baseball game from the 1980s, before I was born, you end up having a lot of unique styles that play a role. Pete Rose's batting stance, the one that got him nearly 4,300 hits at the MLB level, I don't think that would fly in today's game. If a kid lined up with a Pete Rose batting stance, the coach would tell him 20 ways how to fix it. But this is going to be a bunt. Sliding, can't get it there, and the bases are loaded. So 2 hit by pitches and a bunt single from Chris Smith.
That was a really impressive way to field that ball right there. Got it barehanded behind him.
Just couldn't get a throw out, and now it'll be Gavin McCaffrey to left fielder. Question is here, it's the bottom of the 6th inning. You're up by 6, and you have the bases loaded with nobody out. If you get to pour some more runs on, how early do you start dumping the bench into this game? Because it's not like Major League Baseball where you have a 26-man, roster cap. There's probably a good 10 or so guys that could probably hit off the bench. Here's a ground ball. That's through the middle. Base hit McCaffrey. Coming in is Joseph. Right behind him, Will Gurl. The throw is up the line. McCaffrey will go to second. That's a 2-run single for the left fielder, Gavin McCaffrey, and it's 12-4.
Yeah, the best part is these guys are hungry on the bench. They want to get in. So if we see some changes, I expect the same aggressiveness from them as the guys who've been in there already.
Yeah, definitely some hungry guys on that bench. I mean, some that I haven't seen this year, Nick Traynor, Chris Stinson, Mason Blizzard. They'll pull a pitcher out of the game, and the side armor, who I praised for having the delivery, did not record an out. He gave up 2 hit by pitches and 2 singles, including a 2-run single to Gavin McCaffrey. We've got the southpaw coming into the game, number 17, Anthony Aguilera out of Bayonne. We'll be back in just a moment with this pitching change. We're not starting the bottom of the sixth, but we're resuming it after a pitching change. Out of the game is number 10, Drew Oppenheim. In is Anthony Aguilera, the southpaw of Bayonne, as this one's hit out towards center field by Carbone. It'll be caught by Reed. Here comes a laser to the plate, but now we've got a logjam on the bases. In between second and third, the throw is short. What do we got here? They've got a runner coming to the plate. He's going to score. And Centenary's head coach incensed. Andrew Romanella, I mean, very, very deservedly upset with his defense there. That could have been a double play. That should have been a double play. And their hesitancy just allowed a run to score. I was praising the center fielder Reed for, having some restraint on the ball and really uncorking one. But instead, I mean, that was an easy mistake by Rutgers-Camden. That could have been a double play. Should have had the runner out at second, but instead Centenary made a mistake of their own, and it allows the run to come in, and it's now 13-4.
Well, I think that's honestly a really great teaching moment for both teams. Obviously, the coach for Centenary, he has his own feelings and thoughts on how they should have proceeded there, but also for Rutgers-Camden, if this is a game in the NJAC tournament or even against Rowan in April, you can't have that happen.
This is why we play non-conference baseball and as many games as they do, because they want to see as many different defenses as they can, and the more games you play, the better it'll be for you at the end. That'll be a walk for McAleer, and here is Watson here in the bottom of the sixth inning. So he's already hit for the cycle. I don't know what else he can do here, but he's 4 for 4. It was a natural cycle, 4 for 4, 4 hits. Nothing in between. As he'll bat here in the bottom of the sixth. First pitch fouled back.
It is nice to see, and this is just a personal opinion, but the restraint from Centenary's coach he really hasn't gotten upset audibly most of this game. Sometimes at the lower level or even in college, you'll see some of these coaches really give it to their guys while they're on the field, and sometimes
this ball's hit out towards right center field. Watson stumbles out of the box. It's going to be caught by Reed. They had to send the runner back to first, and now the run will score on the sacrifice fly. That makes it 14-4 as coming in as McCaffrey. That's 2 down here in the bottom of the sixth. So 10-run lead for the Raptors. So that is now second RBI of the game for Watson. Throw back to first, not in time.
But as I was saying, I do think it is just refreshing to see this new age of younger coaches who don't necessarily harp on one mistake or one issue. Obviously today we've seen multiple fielding errors on both sides of the ball from both teams, but it is nice to see a more stylistic approach where you're not focused on just one moment.
And I think as well, it's kind of like showing your hands in a card game or whatever. It's baseball is a chess match, and it's one where if you as a coach or as a player show your vulnerabilities, show your weaknesses, the other team's going to take advantage of it. I see it at the high school level all the time. Maybe a team's leading by 1 or 2 runs. The team that's winning makes a mistake, and the head coach gets incensed about it. Well, what do you know? The team that's losing storms a comeback because they saw that weakness and it fired them up. But as you talked about, Coach Romanella has been here for 3 years now, hired in 2023 after being an assistant at Fairleigh Dickinson up in North Jersey. We'll be right back. We're through 6 here in Camden. It's the Raptors 14 and the Cyclones 4. New pitcher in the ball game, Sean Glenn, the team captain, or one of the team captains, and the junior right-hander out of GCIT is in the game. We have at least 2 defensive substitutions. I can't really tell in the outfield, but what we do know is that now in catching in the ball game is Matt Marino, the freshman out of Father Judge in the Philadelphia Catholic League, and also now in the game at first base is Justin Figueroa, the senior out of Lenape. And only played 9 games in his first 3 seasons. 4 games in 2023, did not play in 2024, did not disclose a reason, and 5 games as a pinch hitter in 2025. Let's see, did they say that he went or did they say that it was a foul ball? What do we got here? 1 ball, 2 strikes. They will say it was a foul ball there. With Chris Clark, the batter, versus Glenn. This one's popped up foul. That one will go to Delaware Street. But 2 balls, 2 strikes, 8, 9, and 1. Clark, Reed, and Frischia for the Cyclones. (14-4) here in the top of the 7th inning from the Camden Athletic Complex. That one, strike 3, lower half of the plate. Clark goes down looking, and there's one away as Sean Glenn picks up the strikeout.
I have a question, Dan. You might know the answer to it. I'm not sure, but
I wouldn't guarantee it. What's your question?
So last year, Isaiah Pinckney was on this team, correct? Did he transfer out?
I am not sure. I think because he was class of 2022, he would be a senior this year. That is a good question, genuinely, but I don't see him on the roster. So he could have transferred out, but graduated in a very strong class of 2022, went to Rutgers in New Brunswick before going back to Rutgers-Camden.
Played
Reed
a bit
takes
too.
a strike. What's that?
He played a bit too for New Brunswick.
Yeah, Division I. I mean, listen, the two Division I transfers that are on the team this year, Mike McGinley and Jake Slesarski, both had at least some playing time in their freshman seasons. McGinley over at Ryder, Slesarski over at Mount St. Mary's in Maryland. As there's a swing and a miss. Reed goes down on strikes and a very quick tag in the box. Strikeout number 2, and there's 2 away here in the top of the 7th.
Number 37,
Nick Frischia, the batter, here in the top of the 7th. 2 away. He replaces, Sean Glenn replaces Anthony Alessandroni after 6 innings of work, 2 strikeouts. Gave up 4 runs, but the first one wasn't earned. And the only ones that were actually, he allowed 3 earned runs, rather. 1 run in the second inning. We mentioned that Rutgers committed 3 errors in the field in the top of the second. Culminated with DeGrande getting on an E3 with Ryan Joseph, who, as we said, has been taken out of the game for Figueroa, as that one is low. 2-1.
Rutgers has sat down the guys they had warming up in that right field line.
Yeah, they had a couple people just kind of walking around, not really fully committed to throwing yet, as that one's low.
More of a stretch. Some band work.
Yeah, and again, there's formalities to it. Sometimes you're just out there in case you're needed, but I think that Rutgers has agreed that this game is in their hand right now, so they can afford to be a little bit generous with it, especially with the non-conference schedule coming up and then a monotonous schedule in the Russ Matt Central Florida Invitational. This is their second to last game before that. They've got a home game tomorrow at 6 p.m. versus Widener. And then they go down to Florida. This one's popped up. Third base side. Girl going towards the dugout. It is out of play. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. But Widener, that's, I believe, the first night game of the year. But Widener is 3-4. They played a lot of games over in North Carolina to start their season. But Rutgers-Camden's Florida Invitational opens on Saturday with a 1:30 first pitch versus Mount Union in Auburndale. As there's a strike 3 called. Striking out the side is the right-hander Sean Glenn of GCIT. We'll take a break. Stretch time here in Camden, 14-4. Bottom of the 7th inning, 14-4. We've got a pinch hitter in the ball game. Number 18, Nick Traynor, We just talked about a freshman that we haven't seen yet, Nick Traynor out of Timber Creek. It's a strike called. He will hit here in the bottom of the 7th in place of Jake Slasarski, the designated hitter. Oh, and 2 now. And then Figueroa, the senior first baseman we mentioned earlier out of Lenape, is on deck. Another player who coached under a minor league pitcher, Matt Woods. Farmhand for the Angels as 1-2-3. Traynor goes down looking. 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th. Here's Justin Figueroa. He'll hit here off of the left-hander in Anthony Aguilera. 5th pitcher in the ballgame for Centenary. As that one's outside to Figueroa. First at bat of the 2026 season. Pardon, his 3rd at bat. He had 1 versus Haverford, 1 versus Ursinus. Both games that Rutgers-Camden lost rather handily, but has not recorded a hit yet. Recorded 2 hits in the 2025 season. Again, all of them coming off the bench. Takes that one outside. Good plate discipline here from Figueroa, and it's 3-0. And speaking of McGinley, Mike McGinley is in the on-deck circle hitting for Will Garral. So it'll be assumed that he'll take 3rd. He was a corner infielder over at Delsey under the coach Joe Smith. (3-1). It'll be outside, and Figueroa draws the walk.
Little lefty action in the bullpen for Rutgers. Just like we talked about earlier, there really is no downside at this point in the game to getting these younger guys in.
Especially, you know, Rutgers, one of the things that made their NJAC conference championship run so shocking last year was how injury bugged they were. I mean, they won it without their #1 guy in Jacob Watson. So they ended up, you know, winning the championship without them. There were a whole bunch of other guys that got hurt throughout the season. The injury bug had really lasted with Rutgers-Camden the entire season. It's the first pitch to McGinley, foul. As we mentioned, he's the transfer from Ryder in Lawrenceville, went to Delsey. Now coached by Vincent Londino. 0-1. Breaking ball, misses in. Wanted to offer at it, didn't do so, and it's 1-1. Chris Smith, though, the shortstop out of Washington Township, still is in the on-deck circle. If Centenary loses today, they'll fall to 1-6. Their one win, a 6-3 victory over New Paltz at their home field, the Diamond of Dreams in Hackettstown, New Jersey, in Warren County. Warren County is quite an interesting place, I'll tell you.
Never been.
We've been several times this calendar year alone. Our partnership with Warren Hills Regional High School, the I don't want to say weirdest, but definitely one of the more intriguing partnerships that we've had, because Warren Hills is an hour 45 minutes from here. You know, we had a 10 a.m. basketball game where I had to leave the house at 7:30 in the morning just to go to, as there's a base hit in the left. Mike McGinley gets a single, and his dugout loves it. 2 on here with 1 away, and they're going to have a pinch hitter for Smith, too. They're just dumping out the bench right now. It's going to be number 45 in Richie Rosati out of Newman Goretti. This is the good thing about, you know, kind of blowout wins, is that, you know, the team can dump out the bench, but they can also celebrate. You know, if you're down by a whole lot, you empty the bench, but then you're angry about it. In this situation, you get to dump the bench and you get to celebrate while you're at it. And they're still getting base runners on here. There's a strike called. For the true freshman, 5'8", 170, Rosati, excuse me. inside, 1-1. Had one at bat in the loss to Ursinus. You can hear Centenary's coach not happy at all. Umpire's ignoring him. It's 2-1. He was just kind of saying we're down by 10. He was literally saying you can open it up in terms of the strike zone, which, listen.
No comment.
What I would say is that baseball's got to be played no matter what the score is, and it's got to be played the same way. If anything, I think the umpire would be in the wrong for expanding the strike zone in a blowout game. I see it at the high school level all the time. Teams score like 8-9 runs in an inning, and the umpire expands the strike zone. No, that's not how it's supposed to work. Regardless of whether you're up or down, baseball is not meant to be played to be bent to the will of whatever the scoreboard is. You got to play it whether it's good, bad, or ugly. Rosati moves over the base runners, and we've got 2 in scoring position here with 2 outs for another pinch hitter in number 42 in Christian Meitzler, another graduate of Newman Goretti, as Rosati was. 14-4 here in the bottom of the 7th. Umpire writing down the substitution. We have had every single batter this inning pinch hit.
I do wonder what Centenary's coach would think of the ABS system if he's questioning where we're at currently.
That ball's hit well out to left center field. This is a dive. Ball pops out. 2 runs are going to score. It's going to be a 2-run single for Christian Meitzler, and the lead is now extended to 12 in his first career at bat. It's 16-4. Oh, they're going to call it a catch. They overturned the call, and the 2-run single goes away. Ryan Kulik not happy about it at all. I mean, you are up by 10, so how much do we want to argue this? I saw the ball pop out of the glove, but we also don't have the best angle. He's going to walk away, though. The score will revert to 14-4 after 7, so the single will not stand. And they're looking at something down the right field line here. What are they looking at? Or no, they're okay. Never mind. They're just looking at the new pitchers coming into the ballgame. We'll take a break. 14-4 after 7.
Number 21, Dominic Chiego.
Welcome back. Chiego leads off. New pitcher in the game, Ricky Snyder, the left-hander out of Lenape. 2 seasons at Shenandoah University. There's a ground ball. Base hit in the center field for Chiego. 1 pitch, 1 base hit. And after Centenary was almost down by 12, the 2-run base hit by Meitzler was taken away. Centenary getting one back right away here with a leadoff single here in the 8th. And that's Chiego's 2nd hit of the game. Had a 2-run double back in the 5th. We now defer to the 3-hitter, the catcher to Pace.
Do we know where Shenandoah University is?
I don't know.
That's a new one.
Maybe if you can find the university if you see on the side of the road 2 dozen roses.
Could be.
You know that song, right?
Yeah.
It's a wonderful song.
I was thinking the river.
That's fair.
Tennessee Ernie Ford.
You're more of a country guy than I am, but
I would have to assume it's somewhere in that Appalachian.
I was thinking
area.
like Pennsylvania, somewhere in central PA. As that one's roped out towards left, but straight away though, we'll get taken in. There's one away here in the 8th.
Winchester, Virginia. Looks
Ah.
nice.
Number 28, Andy Briggs.
We do have a new left fielder in the game as well. That's taking over for Gavin McCaffrey. And that's number 26, Cameron Stevenson. So another Kingsway grad. So one Kingsway grad replaces another. And it's the true freshman, Stevenson. Ground ball, third base. It goes through the glove of McGinley, or under the glove, into left field. And that's a base hit for Briggs, with one away here in the 8th. Just a good ground ball that time, got some contact on it. And Briggs picks up his 2nd appearance on base today and his 1st hit. As now the batter is the first pitch and a strike called. So just as Rutgers-Camden plays Widener at home tomorrow night, Centenary will play Montclair State University at home in Hackettstown tomorrow night as well. That one's fouled back. Rutgers-Camden with a win will improve, or would improve, to 3-4. I mean, listen, if Rutgers-Camden can win today and tomorrow and be 4-4 going into the Central Florida Invitational, that still is a good pace, and I don't think that's anything to really scoff at. They definitely had a bit of a rougher start, but throw back to 2nd, not in time.
Well, I don't think you can underestimate them at all after last year's postseason.
Absolutely.
The unexpected Cinderella run was unbelievable, and for it to be capped off with the NJAC championship after all that, there is no telling. A bad start or a rough start really does not mean it's the end-all be-all for this team.
And with inside, 1-2. I mean, case in point, I look at a lot of college baseball. Everybody's freaking out right now about LSU. And, you know, number 2 team in the nation dropped to 13th in the rankings this week because they lost a series to Sacramento State, or it might have been Southeastern Louisiana, one of those green and yellow teams. There's a ground ball. McGinley picks it up on a hop, could go around the horn. No, it goes into right field. Goes past Dubler. Run will score, diving in head first, and it's 14-5, puts it within 9. As Chiego comes around that time, McGinley could have had a double play, but instead no outs are recorded. It's now 14-5 here with 1 out in the 8th.
Well, college baseball as a whole at the D1 level currently is unbelievable. A lot of really, really interesting teams you don't expect have been up at the top this year.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, you know, obviously I think a lot of people knew that UCLA was going to be the number 1, but here's a ground ball by DeGrande out to Dubler. They'll get the fielder's choice. Nobody else there. There's 2 away here in the 8th.
I am pleasantly surprised by how Rutgers New Brunswick has been performing. They beat Virginia Tech. They've had a few lower level D1 schools they've played, but their roster is pretty well built with Peyton Bonds immediately comes to mind, nephew of Barry Bonds.
I don't think he's the nephew of Barry. Is he the nephew?
Yeah, he's the
Barry
nephew.
Bonds? I thought you were doing a bit for a second. I didn't
No.
know that. First pitch grounded off the glove of McGinley, running in, not going to have a play. Another run will score for Centenary, as that will be an infield single. Took a couple of hops that time. And the first baseman, DeSena, has a hit.
Yeah, he has 762 home runs in his blood.
No, you're right.
A couple kids from around here on that team, too. Notably, I believe on SportsCenter, Joey Harris.
Joey Erase out of St. Augustine in the Cape Atlantic League. But listen, the thing about college baseball is that I don't want to say that non-conference play doesn't matter, but when you're playing 20-some games before your Division I conference play starts, you're going to lose some. You know, and it's very hard to have a season where you lose less than, 10, 15 games. So, you have those showcases that are played in major league stadiums. You have, the showcases that are played in Puerto Rico and in the South. And also a partial truth of it is that teams in the North are going to have a harder time winning games than teams that are in the South, because the weather that we have right now is the weather that they have in South Carolina, 24/7, 365 days a year. But up here, the first game of the year that we had was 45 degrees, and, we had 2 feet of snow on the ground. So the way that it is, when we talk about why baseball teams are better in the South, it's just because they can play for longer. Got the 2-2 coming from Snyder. Chopped out towards third. McGinley doesn't go, and they won't have anything there. So that's going to be a base hit in the infield, and Centenary has a lot of life to them. They've got the bases loaded here with 2 outs, and Reed, the number 9 hitter, will be the batter as Chris Clark gets a base hit.
Yeah, to add on to that, I think a really good example of a team down south who gets that experience with the warmth is UTSA. They cracked the top 25 this week. Though they did beat Coastal, the rest of the teams they've played on that schedule have really been subpar, but they do get that benefit of being in warm weather and having to be able to practice and play in what they will have the whole season, as opposed to a team up north like even Illinois or somewhere over here.
Here's the 0-1. Grounded out towards short. Hat comes off, and he got him. 2 runs come across for Centenary, and a grand total of 8 batters come to the plate. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Last chance for Rutgers to get some insurance. It's 14-6. Bottom of the 8th inning, last chance for Rutgers-Camden to put up some insurance as we now have pitcher number 6 in the game for Centenary and the Cyclones. It's Liam Hester out of St. Peter's Prep. Redshirt sophomore last year. That one's away. Or excuse me, a former redshirt as he faces Rutgers-Camden's own Matt Marino out of Father Judge. Three balls, no strikes. It's 14-6. Strike called. In the on-deck circle is Mateo Santiago out of Albert Einstein High School in Silver Spring, Maryland. Yeah, they really don't have a Keen Phillips on this team this year. You know, we talked about Keen Phillips at length last year, relief pitcher for the Raptors that came out of Aspen, Colorado, transferred over from a Division II school. But Santiago might be the farthest you have, and that's Maryland. That one's roped out towards right center. Oh! Reed with a Sports Center play. No matter the score, that's impressive. One away. What a play in center by Reed. One down.
That was beautiful. You really can't draw it up any better. And we've seen a lot of diving plays today that have been almost. We had the one earlier, I think, in the second out in right field. But other than that, there hasn't been too many actually completed ones. That was beautiful. That was like Superman.
Yeah, there was one in right center from Briggs, and now Reed adds on. If there's one thing that Centenary's staff can be happy with, it's that their outfield defense has been pretty good. So 1-0, grounded to third, caught at the chest. Santiago grounds out on his second pitch. There's quickly 2 away. Southpaw in the bullpen in Anthony Gugolski out of Sterling.
Now batting number 26, Cameron Stevens.
So would have to imagine he would be the selection for the 9th in an 8-run game. Another true freshman. And this would be his first career appearance. Ground ball, third base side. Throw across is going to get past the first baseman, DeSena. It'll go down towards the bullpen. Now stopping at second is going to be the pinch hitter, number 26, in Cameron Stevenson, the left fielder. And he'll get aboard there and on a 2-base error. And now in the ballgame will be Chris Stinson out of Bishop Eustace, another freshman. So many I feel like I'm watching a high school all-star game. I mean, seriously, there are so many talented athletes that were in the class of 2025 that a guy like Stinson or a guy like Stevenson, who, again, are great athletes in their own right, really having some great seasons and really getting their feet wet in Division III baseball right away. And that's the thing, is that at D3 ball, a lot of coaches emphasize that you're going to play it. I think Kulik's one of those guys that will emphasize that you will play. No matter what, you will play.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing, especially with these guys, because they're so early in their career here at the collegiate level that they could go to a Division I school if they play well enough, a Division II, a JUCO, and there's so many of those in the area that right here, Rutgers-Camden ends up being the focal point. You see guys come in, come out. Like we talked about earlier, Isaiah Pinckney played at Rutgers New Brunswick, ended up here to end his baseball career. And guys like...
Ball's hit out towards right center by Stinson. Reed is there, and he'll make the catch to retire the side. So a whole bunch of pinch hitters, and the Raptors are kept off the board. A scoreless 8th inning by Liam Hester, the 6th pitcher of the day for the Cyclones. It's going to be Anthony Gugolski in to close it out in an 8-run ball game. We'll be back in just a moment.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Well, the sun is setting on tonight, and it's setting on the ball game, but Anthony Gogolski is coming in for his first career Division III appearance. Anthony Alessandroni made his first career start to start the ball game. He's getting a lot of hugs from his teammates as he looks to set down the Centenary and send Rutgers to a 3-4 record. He'll look to send Centenary to a 1-6 record as both teams have one game left in non-conference play this week. As going over to the dugout will be Marino, something with his equipment. Just immediately stepped out. He'll pick up something new. Maybe, I'm not sure what he picked up, but Gogolski, left-hander who was a first baseman and pitcher for Sterling in Summerdale last year and for the majority of his high school career, led by head coach Tad Kozaneski. They had a renaissance season last year with the number 4 seed in South Jersey Group 2. 19-7 was their overall record. Had a lot of great talent on that 2025 team, and now we're getting to see him throw here versus Centenary. His first task is a lefty-lefty matchup.
Yeah, Gogolski was one of those key guys last year. He opened up their season as their ace.
Frischia out to left center field. Watson, or check that, center fielder's there.
The season for Sterling.
For Gogolski, yeah. No, I mean, listen, we've talked about it like a broken record, but it has been this has been a game for Rutgers-Camden that has been led by the true freshman. Anthony Alessandroni goes 6 innings, had a fantastic start, and then, you know, you got guys like Gogolski making an impact. They're going to say it's foul. That hit the foot of the batter, Chiego. So 1 away. But relieving Anthony Alessandroni with Sean Glenn. And then it was southpaw, another freshman, or actually no, not a freshman, a senior in Ricky Snyder. And then this is the 4th pitcher of the game. Good thing is, when you're dealing with a back-to-back, home versus Widener tomorrow night, using a lot of those freshmen and the pitchers that don't get a lot of reps really allows you to throw your best guys versus the Widener Pride tomorrow. That one goes through the mound and into center field, base hit for Chiego. So that's his 3rd hit of the day, and even in a 8-run game, it may at least be a selling point for Centenary that one of their best guys, Chiego, 3-hit night, 2-run double in the 5th, 3 for 5 all told, and it'll now be the catcher Derek DePace to bat here for the Cyclones out of Chatham, New Jersey. He'll dive back to first safely. Appeared in 11 games, 7 hits as a freshman. Pretty similar marks this year. Again, Centenary's only had 1 win versus New Paltz at their home field. Hosted New Paltz for a 3-game set this last weekend. Won game 1, dropped games 2 and 3. But they also played Rutgers-Newark last week and lost that game 13-6. So their offense is there. I mean, 6 runs in a 9-inning game, there's a lot of teams that can't do that. But at the college baseball level, a game that rewards high-octane offense because of the metal bats and because the talent just keeps getting better and better every year, you do see that, offensive game turn out to be different. Ooh, foul ball down the line. Thought that might have been fair over the bag.
Yeah, I'm not
bat
sure.
stays alive, and it's 2-2. One away here in the 9th.
One thing to really take away from this game is a lot of the runs that Rutgers-Camden has put up, they're not just from hits, and there's been a lot of errors on the part of Centenary.
That's a swing and a miss, and Gogolski's got his first collegiate strikeout, and it comes at a very important hand. It's the number 3 hitter on this team, and we're 1 out away from getting out of here.
If you take away those errors and the mishaps in the field, this game is a lot closer than it actually looks.
I'd agree with you. There's a line drive. Smith has it, and the ball game is over. Rutgers-Camden picks up a 14-6 win over the Centenary Cyclones in non-conference play. They beat them 10-3 in a night game last year, and now they take care of the Cyclones by 8 runs here on this Tuesday afternoon. Time of game, 2 hours and 38 minutes. But, Gavin, this was a game that was definitely intriguing from start to finish. Rutgers-Camden put up 10 runs in the first 3 innings, and we didn't know if they would slow down. We didn't know if this was going to be a blowout for the ages, but it ended up just being a standard 8-run win with a little bit more offense sprinkled throughout.
Well, before the game I said we might get some fireworks, and we did get a bomb and a cycle at that. That's probably the biggest thing we can take away from here today is the absolute amazing performance today. I can't underestimate that. The bunt has got to be the most impressive part of all of it. The home run and the triple are great, but that bunt to stay fair,
not a lot you can do.
No.
I mean, listen, the Rutgers-Camden played extremely well today. And yes, Centenary's 1-6. They definitely have been down on their luck this year, but I think there's valuable lessons for both teams going forward. Rutgers-Camden definitely had a bit of a sluggish defensive performance. And as it goes, as we're talking about where these teams are projected, Rutgers-Camden, they're on the upswing. They just won the NJAC championship last year, but they're 3-4. They were 2-4 going into this game. Definitely had some losses that they would have liked to have back. But if you're Rutgers-Camden, they certainly enjoy games like this. And every team enjoys games like this, where you put up 14 runs, you got everything going for you, you get to empty the bench. It's like there's a sense of relief in the building, that you're going to be fine. But they've got a big test coming up versus Widener, another team that's right around 500, 3-4. I've seen Widener before. They're a team that can definitely sneak up on you, and Rutgers-Camden played them very well in the beginning of the non-conference schedule. But I think it goes without saying my player of the game is easily Jacob Watson. I mean, there's no other way that you can have a player who had a cycle not get the player of the game. I think that it's an easy choice.
Well, like I was just saying, there really is. That's the first cycle in Dan Wilkins Broadcasting history.
In over 200 baseball games. Crazy, right?
It is unbelievable. I found that hard to believe at first, but when you look into it, yeah, it undoubtedly is one of the most impressive performances probably ever in Dan Wilkins Broadcasting history. And it was almost effortless not to beat on Centenary, but he attacked those first pitches and really took it into his own hands.
I mean, it was a natural cycle. He got it done in 5 innings. He had a triple 2 pitches into the game, had a base hit in the second on a bunt. Then he has the home run in the third, his first career home run in his 3rd season here with Rutgers-Camden. And then he finishes it off with a double straight off the right field wall. Can't get a lot better than that. And I think that Jacob Watson easily deserves all the flowers that he can get. Coming back from that ankle injury last year, now that he's able to come back, be at full force, A lot of people to be proud of, not just in Franklinville, not just in Elk Township, but here in Camden as well. Really a lot of great talents on this Rutgers-Camden team as they improve to 3-4. That'll be all for us tonight on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting as Rutgers-Camden takes care of the Centenary Cyclones by a score of 14-6. We'll be back on the air for NJCAA baseball between Bergen and RCSJ Gloucester tomorrow afternoon at 3:30. Our good friends Sam Goldberg and Kevin Profico will be on the call for that game. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Caleb Lane, Gavin Van Rel, and Fisher Giannotti. My producer, Vincent Focht. My color commentator, also Gavin Van Rel, a Rutgers-Camden freshman, right?
Yeah.
Freshman? Yeah, I don't know why I blanked on it. But I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you tomorrow from Deptford Township. Final score, Rutgers-Camden 14, Centenary 6. Have a good one, folks.